Hey Scott, Paul. So it's a little after hours here. I'm sitting down on my back patio. It's probably about 8 o'clock at night, and I just read your email about any advice on staying positive. You know, I have the most powerful piece of advice, but it's not from me, it's from someone else. It's from Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. So a while back, I read his book, and it was a profound book. And I always try to take away from every book I ever read one concept that I can apply to my life in the real world. And Clarence Thomas gave me that. Essentially, I will paraphrase it this way. Clarence Thomas grew up in the South and experienced a great degree of racism, and he had a challenging childhood, to say the least. And he determined in his life that every man was allocated a certain amount of energy or a certain number of days on this earth. And that what you did with those days on this earth largely determined who you were. And then he further reasoned, and again I'm paraphrasing, that that energy, that life that everyone is given, there really is only enough of that to create a good life. And if you allocate a portion of that energy, that life that has been given you, to being negative and pointing fingers and blaming other people for your situation, you have squandered one of the greatest gifts in life. And so he determined as a result of that, that he was going to live a life positive, even though he had experienced some of the most negative and hateful and despicable things that anybody could ever experience as a child. But he said, I'm not going to let those things define my life. So I've chosen personally to be very positive as a person. And I simply always reflect on the fact that when someone comes up to me and says something kind to me, it makes me feel pretty special. And so I have went out of my way as a leader to try to give that kindness back to people as much as possible. Always looking to be positive because I know what it feels like on my side to be the recipient of that. And so I go back to the lessons I learned from reading Clarence Thomas's book. I reflect on how I feel when people are kind enough to be gracious towards me. And I just position my entire life as much as possible towards trying to encourage and be positive in solving problems as a team rather than pointing and blaming. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not a difficult person from time to time. That does not mean that I can be a real hard ass, because I'm a tough guy. I don't put up with any nonsense from anyone. But I would say the preponderance of my life is focused on helping and encouraging other people and remaining positive, because there is only so much time and energy that we all have. Hopefully that helps. Thanks, Scott.